Mac Mini, Mac Mini Max, M1, M2, M2 Max, MacBook Pro, MacBook Super Pro Pro, 16 gigs, 32 gigs, 180 gigs. How many gigs? You know, we're kind of spoiled for choice when it comes to computers and their capability and their processors. So recently, I decided to upgrade my computer system, which is always a little bit anxiety inducing because you're so used to having things a certain way and just having to move files, and it's exhausting to even think about it. But my 2013 iMac, although getting nearly 10 years of life out of it, was showing its age. It was getting slow. It was getting loud. I noticed the fan was running a lot more frequently, little bugs here and there, and I was at a point where I couldn't update the operating system anymore. I was waiting for the new iMacs to come out. Of course, they're coming out this year. But I needed a quicker solution. I needed something a little bit sooner. I knew that the MacBook Pros were coming out, but very expensive. Very expensive. So after reading tons of reviews and watching a bunch of YouTube videos, particularly John Mayer, whose YouTube channel I greatly admire, and he was talking about using it and using it effectively, from talking to people in Twitch, fellow streamers that are using the Mac Minis, and everybody's happy. So got the Mac Mini, went with the 16 gigs of RAM. I had 32 gigs on my MacBook. So you might think, well, that's a downgrade. Why would you do that? Well, first of all, 16 gigs was only available on the Mac Mini. So I'm sure the new ones will have, 32, 64 or whatever. The new iMacs will be souped up. So how much do you need? There's been a lot of talk about this M1 processor and the RAM swap technology. I'm not going to go into all the specs and all the details and all the benchmarks. I try not to make these videos technical. It's more just a general, what are my impressions of the Mac Mini? Can it work for what I want to do? And that's what we're going to go. And you can, look for all these technical specifications in other videos. But does it work for me and what I need it to do? Absolutely. It's been working like a dream, smooth as silk. It is silent. You cannot hear it ever. It just sits there with its silvery kind of hue, and it just does its thing. It just does exactly what we need to do, which is just sit there and not make any noise. So for audio recording, that is huge. For streaming, live streaming, that is huge. That is a big deal. In terms of its processing speed and the 16 gigs of RAM, I have had absolutely zero issues. I've been able to load up tons and tons of samples from big libraries, big Spitfire libraries, some real RAM hoggers, like some of the Native Instruments stuff. Zero issues, nothing crashes. I'm running it in Rosetta 2 for now. I did at the beginning experiment with running it natively in Logic. I ran into a few issues, but again, that's just because some developers just haven't quite caught up. So there was a few little headaches here and there about converting stuff over and getting everything working in M1, but very, very few headaches. I got a nice Samsung 4K monitor, and it occurred to me how old my iMac was in terms of its visual display. The display was beautiful, don't get me wrong. I love iMacs. But my first 4K display, Samsung, with the Mac Mini is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Even my Spitfire Audio desktop background looks beautiful. So for me, doing a lot of video editing on Final Cut Pro, which I'll get to in a minute, again, everything just looks beautiful. The only issues really that I've had, and I knew that this was going to be a problem, and these are two small issues. One is kind of an annoyance, which shouldn't happen. 2, I already knew about it when I bought it. Okay, so the one that I knew about was, the lack of USB ports. Okay, but this is a known thing. You know about these things when you purchase this equipment. So I can't say, well, I didn't know about it. Well, I knew that it was going to be an issue. How do you solve that? Well, you just get yourself a USB hub with a whole bunch of, I got dongles and hubs all over the place. It's a little messy. It's kind of cables all over the place. I'm going to try to neaten that up a little bit. Get yourself a good hub, and it's no longer an issue, So that's one thing. Pretty small, really. Annoying issue that bugs me that shouldn't be there, and again I knew about it, is the Bluetooth keyboard issue. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous for Apple to not be able to have a keyboard operate using Bluetooth seamlessly without any issues in this day and age is utterly ridiculous. Apple, fix it. Come on, man. It's a no-brainer. Fix the Bluetooth, okay? My wireless mouse, no issues. No issues whatsoever. And I was running for a while using Bluetooth on my keyboard. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. It would disconnect. Sometimes it would just get laggy. You press a key and like 10 minutes later, it pops up on the monitor. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. Nobody wants to deal with that. Is it a huge deal? No. Again, you get yourself a USB hub, you just run the lightning cable, whatever, done. It's just one of those stupid things that shouldn't happen. And it's a little obscene that, this is a known issue that still hasn't been fixed. It probably will be fixed, probably through firmware or whatever. It's kind of ridiculous that Bluetooth has been around this long and it's still a little bit of an issue. So I still love Apple. I still love their products, but come on, guys, fix it. Final Cut Pro. Most of the times I shoot in 1080 just to keep file sizes small. But every now and again I shoot in 4K. Or I take the 1080 footage and I export it as a 4K file, which I know is not the same as filming in 4K, but it still looks good. So running videos and editing in Final Cut Pro and exporting files, even large files, in Final Cut Pro on the Mac Mini is an absolute breeze. It is crazy how fast it is. Exporting files used to take forever. Now it's like done. It's crazy how fast it is. So can you compare the 16 gigs with 32 gig on my old model? When we're running all these large applications and sample libraries. Not really, because of all the interworkings with the M1 chip and the RAM swap. And, I don't really care about any of that, to be honest with you. I just want everything to run smooth, and everything runs smooth as silk. It's just seamless. Everything works. I can edit my files. I can export them super fast. I can bounce projects and Logic super fast. I don't have to bounce tracks in place. I don't have to freeze tracks. Everything just works. Now, I don't work with super massive, large templates. If you're watching this and you're John Williams or Hans Zimmer and you have 150 tracks, good for you. But then again, you're probably not watching this video. You're probably busy doing other things. So for me, as an artist who likes to keep the projects and track counts down, zero issues, smooth as silk, which leads me to my next point. Okay, all these hardcore souped up Max chips and all that kind of stuff, and the MacBook Pros that carry these massive price tags. For me, they are massive overkill. I say save your cash. Now, if you're operating some kind of massive video production company with multiple cameras and crazy amounts of 4K or even 8K footage, then yeah, you probably want to look at one of those souped up MacBook Pros. But for a guy who runs a YouTube channel, who likes to film his own stuff, edit his own stuff, create, decently sized Logic projects and export them, live stream on Twitch with zero issues, the Mac Mini is a powerhouse. Get the 16 gig. You will not be disappointed. The thing just works like a dream. So there you go, my friends. I say save your cash. Save your cash. Buy other stuff. Buy lights like this fancy glowy light behind me, behind the Jimba. You know, buy soft boxes. Buy, you know, lights for your background. Buy gear. You know, buy lenses for your cameras. Save your cash. It's kind of like, you know, the Mac Mini is a Honda Civic or it's a Toyota Corolla. Just gonna run like a dream. I don't need a sports car. Okay, I just need to get from point A to point B without issues, without my car breaking down. Would I like to have a sports car? Sure. Do I need one? No, I don't need one. Go forth and create. If you haven't caught me on Twitch, check it out. There are incredible things happening in Twitch. There are live collaborations. There are collaborations that are happening because of me meeting streamers on Twitch. My rate of growth on Twitch right now is exponentially greater than this YouTube channel, which is pretty wild because I've been putting out these videos for over a year now. Whereas Twitch, I think it was end of November when I kind of start over again. So if you want to hang, if you want to listen to live looping, if you want to just ask me questions about sample libraries or music productions, and then I play music in between. If you want to hear stories, if you want to joke around, if you want to be part of the Ambient fam, as we are now known as, I highly, highly recommend you checking out Twitch. If you haven't, you're missing out on the future of content creation. I can guarantee you, live content creation is going to be the future, no doubt about it. That's it, my friends. Stay safe. Catch you in the next one.